to start seated on our mat with one leg crossed in front of the other. Feel free to keep your eyes closed for the first part of this. We're just going to focus on our breathing for a few seconds. So inhaling and exhaling. I'm going to say yogi's choice. If you want to inhale through your nose and exhale out of your mouth, you can go for that. Or if you would prefer to inhale and exhale out of your nose, that works as well. So as you're inhaling and exhaling right now, just feeling the parts of your body that are connected to your mat, connected to the ground. And we're going to add a little bit of movement with these inhales and exhales. As we inhale, we're going to bring the arms up to the side and over our head. And as we exhale, we're going to lower them down. We're going to do that a couple more times. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling the arms down. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling them down. Inhale, arms up, and if you feel like it, you can go ahead and lift the chest and the gaze up towards your hands if your eyes have been open. Exhale, down. Let's do one more of those. Inhaling, arms up. Maybe your chest and gaze come up. We're going to bring the palms together into prayer position and exhale them down in front of the chest. Pausing when you get in front of your heart. We're going to switch our seated position a little bit, just coming onto the shins. We're going to do a seated variation of cat-cow. So we're going to inhale, open the arms. Again, lifting the gaze in the chest if you feel like it, and exhale, crossing the arms in front of you like a hug and finding a little bit of a curve in the spine. Inhaling, opening the arms and the chest. Exhaling, hugging it all in. Inhaling. Exhale. One more of those. Inhaling. Exhale. Coming to our tabletop position for a little more of a traditional cat-cow. Our wrists are underneath our shoulders. Knees are underneath the hips. Our spine is long. We're going to inhale and curve around the back upwards. And exhale, do the opposite curve in your spine, sending the chest forward and out. Inhaling, curving the spine so the tailbone is sort of shifting down so that there's a nice curve in the thoracic spine. Exhaling, chest is coming up and out. Let's do one more of those. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to return to a bit of a neutral spine here. And we're going to just find some circles in the spine. So I'm going to tilt both my head and my hips to the right side. I'm going to circle them back so my chest and head are open to the back. And then I'm going to circle my hips and head towards the right. I'm going to keep that circle going to find my cat position. So my back is arched again. And then I'm going to find a little bit of an extended cow to the right side, continuing up to the left, back into my cat. One more of those to the right, circling to the left, in center. Go ahead and find that neutral tabletop position. We're going to do that circle starting to the left side first, 3 times. So left, backward, right. Here's round 2. Continuing to breathe in whatever way is kind of comfortable for you right now, whatever aids you in making this circle and finding space in your spine. And for the next few seconds, just find your own sort of movement in this tabletop position. So maybe making some shapes, drawing some shapes in the space with your nose and your hips. They can even go in opposition of each other. You can bend the elbows. Find curves in all parts of your spine. So whatever feels good for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back to tabletop, tucking the toes to press our hips backwards and up into downward dog. Find the length in your spine here. If you find that your back is curving, go ahead and bend your knees so that you can really find a lengthened, stretched spine. You might want to pedal the feet, bending the knees. You might want to shift the hips from side to side, just finding any movement that feels good in this starting down dog, and then walking the feet forward towards the hands. Bend the knees. Roll up through the spine so that your head is the last thing upright. And I'm just going to step as far forward onto my mat as I can. Good. Finding this mountain pose, I'm going to have my feet just underneath my hips. We're going to take a couple of sun salutations. So I'm going to breathe in and bring the arms up. I'm also going to bring my focus and my chest up to see those hands. I'm going to exhale and fold at the hips to find forward fold. I'm going to walk my hands up my shins to my thighs. That pressure is going to help me extend my back into flat back. And I'm going to exhale, bring the hands back down to the mat, bending the knees to send them behind me for this plank position. I'm going to take an inhale here. Exhale, I'm going to lower down. Inhale, pressing up. Exhale, tucking the toes, sending the hips backwards and upwards to find that down dog again. A couple of breaths here. I'm going to bend the knees to just take a gentle walk forward towards the top of my mat. I'm going to use my hands again to walk up my shins to my thighs to make this flat back as I inhale. Exhale, I'm going back into the forward fold. And inhaling, I am sweeping the arms up. I'm going to bring the palms together. As I exhale, they're going to come down through prayer position. And then lower to my side. We're going to repeat that again. Inhale and arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands to the ground, feet backwards into plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale, we're going to lower down. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, send the hips backwards and up. Couple of breaths in your downward dog here. Take a gentle bend in the knees to step forward towards the front of your mat or your hands. Inhaling, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms are coming up. Exhaling, hands are in prayer position in front of our body. Take an inhale here. And then exhale to lower the hands down. We're going to take another sun salutation, adding in some lunges here. Take an inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, planting the hands, finding our plank, taking an inhale here. Exhale, lowering down. Inhaling up, trying to make sure that we're not tightening the glutes here, causing any excess tension in the legs, sending the hips backwards and up. We're going to take the right foot up this time. So our heel is facing the ceiling, toes are facing down. Hold that for a second. Then take a couple of circles in your ankle. Bend your knee. Maybe turn it out to the side. And then rotate that hip so that the knee is facing the other side. Let's do that again. So we're just sort of rotating in the hip joint here. And then send the foot back up. Tuck the knee in towards the chest. Bring the weight forward a little bit into the palms. We're going to hold this position for 3, 2, 1. Bring the foot down to the ground to find a low lunge. So yogi's choice here. You can stay in this low lunge with the back knee lifted, or you can place the knee on the ground and untuck the toes, whichever is best for you. I'm going to tuck my knee. And I'm going to just lift myself up a little bit so that I'm finding a more upright position in this lunge, feeling the stretch that's happening in my left hip flexors here. I want to keep these hips balanced and equal so that they're on the same plane from left to right, and also the same plane from side to side, right? So they're just even with each other here. I'm going to inhale the arms up over my head. And as I exhale, I'm going to twist towards the right, bringing the left hand forward and looking towards the right. We're going to repeat that a couple of times. Inhaling, bringing the arms up and untwisting. Exhale, twist to the right. Woo. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist. That is very difficult for me. One more, inhale up. Exhale, twist. And we're going to bring the hands back down. If you have had your knee on the ground, go ahead and tuck your toes and lift the knee up. If you've been in this higher lunge for a while, good for you. We're going to go into a little bit of a hold here. So hands can come to the thigh, or if you're feeling stable enough to go for it, the arms can inhale up, overhead, bringing the palms together and just slightly arching back just a tiny bit. And exhale the arms back to the mat. We're just going to bring that back leg front to meet the other leg. And we're going to roll up through the spine this time. Head is the last thing to come up. And that was a little hard on my front leg, so I'm just going to take a little bit of a stretch in the quads. I'm going to lift the right leg, which was in the front. And I'm just going to hold on to my ankle behind my glutes and get a little bit of a stretch in my quads. All right, letting that go. We're going to do the same thing to the left side. Inhaling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms and the feet back. Inhale in your plank. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, finding the downward dog. This time we're going to lift the left foot, Starting by placing the heel towards the ceiling and the toes towards the ground. Then we're going to circle the ankle. Make sure you circle both directions. And now we're going to bend the knee, rotate in the hip so that the knee faces outward, and then rotate the hip again so the knee faces in and comes a little bit underneath us. Just rotate again, knee out. Then the knee is coming in, and then just send the leg back up to our starting position here. Bend the knee, tuck it in towards the chest. Come forward into your hands a bit, hold for 3, 2, 1. Bring the foot all the way forward and through. Finding a low lunge, either keeping the back knee up or lowering, whichever is great for you. Coming up a little bit. We're going to do the same inhale, exhale, twist, but this time we're going towards the left. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist. Inhale up. Twist. Last one, inhale up. And twist. Inhale, the hands up. We're going to come to a knee lifted low lunge if your knee was down. Bringing the hands up to the thighs. Finding that equal balance in the hips. And if you're up for it, take the hands down, inhale them up. They come to prayer above your head, slight arch back. Bring them down, hands to the mat. We're walking or sending the back foot towards the front. Taking a roll up through the spine here. And then taking the left ankle into the hands behind us to stretch out the quads. Continuing to breathe as you do this stretch. So I am now going to shift my mat so that you have a better view of my side body as we go into the next part of our flow here. So we're going to step to the front of our mat. Another sun salutation going into our warriors. And I'm actually going to take a second to turn my fan on because it's very hot. Okay, we're going to inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, feet backwards, plank. Inhale here. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. We're going to lift the right leg towards the ceiling. Bend the knee, same as we did in our other flow. We're holding here for 3, 2, 1. Plant the foot. We're going to rotate the back foot so that our toes are facing outwards. We're just going to circle the hands into our warrior 2 pose here. So finding a good deep bend in the front knee, but making sure that the knee is over the ankles and not going towards the toes. Taking a couple of breaths in our warrior 2. We're going to lower the back arm, the back hand to the thigh. Slightly arch backwards and lift the top hand towards the ceiling for peaceful warrior. And exhale back into warrior 2. We're going to straighten the front knee. Shift the hips towards the left. And then reach down. So Depending on your flexibility, you might want to put your hand on your shin or your foot or on the mat to find our triangle pose here. Our opposite arm is reaching towards the ceiling, and we're going to look up at that and try to keep as much space from shoulder to shoulder in the front body as possible. From here, we're going to cartwheel that hand that's up into the sky, over and forward. We're going to rotate the front toes to face in and find this wide foot, wide stance, forward fold here. Continuing to breathe, and just take a second, yogi's choice, to explore movement in your joints in this position. So finding some release in the ankles helps us bend our knees, circling the hips maybe, letting the spine respond to that movement. So maybe you're finding a little bit of a sort of seaweed motion here. And then find some stillness for a second. We're going to heel toe the feet together. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Rolling up through the spine, bending the knees if you need. Coming up. We're going to clasp the hands behind our back. Taking a breath, straightening the elbows and thinking about pushing towards the ground. Letting the front chest open. Lifting up and extend that. We're going to do that on the other side. So I'm going to step to the other direction of my mat. I'm inhaling, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, find your plank. Inhale before we lower. Exhale, lowering down. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Taking the left foot into the air. Bending the knee. Bring the knee into the chest. Weight forward into the hands, holding for 3, 2, 1. Planting the foot. Rotating the back foot out to the side so that we come into our warrior 2 pose. Taking a few breaths here. Checking the front knee, making sure that it's not bending so far forward that it's over our toes. We want it to be as close to the ankle as possible. Lowering the back arm to the thigh, reaching the front arm up, which takes our torso backwards a little bit into peaceful warrior. Continuing to breathe. Coming back to warrior 2. Straighten the front knee. Shift the hips backwards towards the right. And find your tilt to find triangle pose on the other side. Looking towards the ceiling, if that's available to you, opening up in the front of the body. Now circling that arm over to the left side and forward, turning the toes of the front foot so that we find this fold forward again. Whew. Just hanging out here, bending the knees if you need. And then we're going to come up into our hands a little bit. Just rotate the feet so that the heels are facing each other. We're going to stay in this wide stance here. So go ahead and roll yourself up. You can use your hands to press into the ground and other parts of your body if you need help doing that. We're going to go into our goddess shape here. So bending the knees, our feet are still out, finding a deep, what looks like a second position grand plie if you've ever taken ballet. We're gonna bend the elbows, finding this cactus shape. And we're gonna do a couple of inhales and exhales. We're going to extend the knees and elbows as we inhale and come back to this position, this bent position as we exhale. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Holding this here. If you want to work on some strengthening, balancing today, we're going to lift the heels and come into a bit of a releve. Again, if you're familiar with dance terms. All that means, if you're not familiar, is that we're going to put our weight into the balls of our feet to lift the heels up. And I'm going to do that 1 foot at a time. I'm going to lift the left heel. I'm staying in this bent knee position here. And now I'm going to keep that heel lifted as I lift my right heel. Breathing. 1 more inhale, keeping the heels lifted to extend up. Exhale, just lower it down. Walking the feet into our mountain pose here. We're going to do a couple of standing balances. Starting with tree pose. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Take another breath in. Exhale. Shift your weight into your left foot and just begin to pick up the right foot slowly if you need. This foot can either come to the ankle, to the shin, or up to the thigh, whichever you're feeling comfortable with today, but not on the knee. So again, ankle, shin, or thigh. We're just gonna hold this for a couple of breaths. If you feel like movement in your upper body is not happening today, feel free to just place your hands on your hips in prayer pose in front of you. Or if you've got a lot of flexibility and extension in your shoulder and scapula, prayer behind you. If you want to move through this, we're going to inhale, bring the arms and the focus in the chest up. Exhale them down. 2 more, inhaling up. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Whoa. If you fell out like me, just find it again. Exhale. We're going to take that leg, bring it into our chest. Bend the standing knee, flex the foot of the leg that is in the air. We're going to rotate at the hip to send the knee out to the side. And we're just going to make this figure 4 position. We're going to bring the hands to prayer. 3 breaths in. Number 2. Last one. Go ahead and release that. Come to standing. You might need to shake out your left leg. That definitely got a little difficult towards the end for me. I felt a lot of work happening in my arch of my standing foot. So I'm just going to take a second to massage that out a bit, which you might want to do as well. Okay, moving on to the other side. We're going to just take 2 simple grounding breaths, just standing in our mountain pose here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Shifting the weight into the right foot. Finding the left foot either at the ankle, the shin, or the thigh. If you're willing to move through the breath in the arms, we're going to go inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale down. 2 more. One more. Good. Take the knee a little bit closer to the chest. Flex that foot, bend the standing knee, rotating the hip so that the knee of the lifted leg points to the side. Resting the lifted ankle onto the thigh of the other. Here we go, 3 breaths. 1. 2. Last one. Moving that foot down, coming up. Shaking out the right leg, and I am massaging my arch. Okay, we're just going to go down to the ground now. Finding ourselves on our backs. Our feet are placed on the mat so that our knees are bent and facing the ceiling, and we're just going to take a breath here. Feel yourself yielding into the ground. Try to feel the curvature of your spine. So the lower part of your back or your lumbar spine might have a curve so that it's not touching the ground. That's a good thing. Don't try to force your spine into a straight line. You'll feel your thoracic spine, which is basically your ribs, on the ground. And then your cervical spine, which is your neck, should have a similar curve as your lumbar spine at the bottom. So it is also not touching the ground. And you're just letting yourself release into the earth. Okay, we're going to do 3 bridges here. First one, we're going to go ahead and inhale as we ground our energy into the soles of the feet to lift our hips up. So inhaling, send the hips up. Exhale, lift them, lower them. 2 more. Inhale the hips up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, final one. And this time we're going to hold it for a second. So continue to breathe as your hips are lifted. Your hands can stay by your side, or if you want a bit more of a challenge, you can move your shoulder blades closer together to clasp the hands together so that your hands are kind of underneath your hips, creating a little bit more space between your hips and the ground. One more breath here. Unclasping and lowering down. Bend the knees, bring them into the chest. Go ahead and lift your chin and your shoulders so that your face is going towards your knees here. Lower that down. We're going to keep our right knee tucked towards our chest and extend the left leg. Take a couple of breaths here with that knee close to the chest. Your left leg, which is extended, go ahead and flex the foot so that the toes are facing the ceiling. So you've got energy continuing to shoot through that side of your body. We're going to open the knee that's close to our chest to the side, the right side, so that our body is just open towards the ceiling. Bring that knee back towards the chest and then cross it over to the opposite side, creating a twist. We still have energy flowing through that extended leg. As our knee has rotated towards the left side, we're going to open the right hand out to the right side and look towards it. And if you feel like you want an extra hamstring stretch, you can extend the leg that's bent. And then go ahead and bring it back into the chest. Bring your left knee in to meet it. We're going to do a little happy baby here between sides. So just grabbing the soles of the feet by wrapping the arms around the shins. Rocking from side to side if that feels good for you. And letting go of that position, knees into the chest. This time we're going to extend the right leg, flexing the ankle so that the toes are facing the ceiling, hugging the left knee in towards the chest. Opening the left knee towards the left side, creating a lot of space in the front body. It's open towards the ceiling. Bringing the knee back to the chest and over towards the right side. Finding that spiral in your spine. So our head and our left hand are reaching towards the left. And if you want a hamstring stretch in that top leg, extending it. Just breathing here. Bring that knee back into the chest. Right knee is coming in to meet it. Another happy baby moment. Rocking in any direction that feels good for you today. Coming out of the happy baby, one last time, both knees into the chest. Give them a really tight squeeze here. And then lowering the legs and extending them out so that we find our Tadasana. We're going to just rest here for a few minutes. So I'm going to be very silent. I'm going to let you have a meditative moment. I'm just going to say before we continue that this is another opportunity to find the natural curvature in your spine that we also felt when we first got onto the ground. If this does not feel good for you, you can bend the knees and come back to this shape. You could also grab a pillow to place underneath your knees, which would look something like this. Okay, whatever feels good for you for this last meditative moment. Okay, so waking up a little bit, finding movement in your extremities, some small shifts before we come into some more full body. Finding a way up to seated that's best for you. For me, right now, I want to come into a fetal position. Oh. Then come into our seated pose, crossing the legs. Maybe if you started cross-legged with me, crossing that other leg in front this time, the one that was not in front last time. That's all. Thanks for doing this with me. Have a good day.